Good morning and welcome back to Talking Technical, and it's also nice talking to all of you with the requests that we do receive. And of course, we've got some very clever people asking some interesting questions, and I want to immediately kick off with one of them. But first of all, thank you for all the new speculation members that we do get starting to learn the Aussie top 40. And you guys can see on Twitter how do we everyday fare on the Aussie. Some days we make 50 or 100 points or 150. Some days we actually walk away with nothing. And some days we even take a stop loss. So that's one way of just guiding how this group is doing. And the big thing for this group is to teach people how to trade intraday charts. And especially we derive all the signals that we do send out from the 30-minute chart. And all of that is trading ideas so that you can see on your own computer how do we think, and then you can learn from them. But the first one that we want to discuss tonight is First Majestic Silver Corporation. Now, of course, and I want to mention as well, Nvidia. A friend of mine actually asked me, Frans, is Nvidia one of those shares that can maybe come down? And I said, well, of course. And he said, but do you know that the price to earnings ratio of Nvidia is 222? Maybe we must first look at that chart before we look at the other one, because it is such a nice question. You guys will immediately see what this guy is heading for. He says to me, Frans, Nvidia is sitting on a 222 price to earnings ratio, and he believes that the stock can come down quite a lot. Now, as always, we know, let's go to the weekly chart. Nvidia is one of the favorites of the market. Nothing can hold the share back. In actual fact, it came from September last year from $113, and it's now trading at around $437. I mean, what a wonderful rally. Now, his idea is, he says, Frans, I've got a 5 to 10 year view. And he says, my 5 to 10 year view tells me that Nvidia must come down. Now, he's maybe right, because if you look at Nvidia, I mean, such a rally just in the last year. And he said to me, I'm busy shorting it. And I said to him, where did you short it? He said, well, at that tweezer top. So he shorted it in the range of around 480. But that's not the end of the story. The end of the story is, he says to me, although I believe that Nvidia come back, I'm going to go long on a share with the name of First Majestic Silver. That's the first time in my life that I've ever heard about this share. Now, the reason being, he says that silver is in complete disarray. Nobody wants to touch silver, and everybody believes that silver can just go lower. And he said to me, I've shorted Nvidia and I went long on First Majestic. And he says to me, that is a long-term view. So I just said to him, well, I've never did that before, never a technology share and a commodity share, but he believes that the future lies in commodities. And I asked him, where did you go long? He said, well, I did go long when I saw a beautiful dragonfly candle the other day. And where's that dragonfly candle? There was the dragonfly candle. So he went long at around $7, and the share is trading now at $6.15. And if you look at the 40-week moving average, we're not far from that to turn that into a support. And that turns into a support at $7.31. So this is now two views. And sometimes we need to think about it. You must think about the price to earnings ratio. You must look at maybe a tweezer top like he did with Nvidia. And on the other hand, you must look at some of the dogs of the market like First Majestic Silver Group that nobody in life gives a chance. And then you go long there. So that's a different view, but maybe it works out for him. But let's have a look at gold. I mean, whenever I see the gold price just going lower, I always say to myself, what is happening here? Well, this is the weekly chart of gold. And I warned about the gold price right at the top here at around $2,000. And that made me nervous. But what do we see here? We see maybe a possible double top in gold. There's the top at around 250. And there was another time that the share also went, the commodity also went to almost 250. But now what we see is we are seeing lower highs. Now, lower highs, of course, is negative. And if we look at some shares doing that or commodities doing that, you must know that every time that you see a lower high, the guys sold here at the top, so they starting to sell it. So for me, the next sign of weakness of gold will be around here. I'm going to give you the level now. The level is sitting at 1893. Below 1893, we can maybe put another leg to the downside, and that will take the commodity price to $1,864. Now, if we break that, then of course this 40-week moving average will turn into a resistance, and that will be seen as very negative, because this double top is always a warning formation. But I think below this level of 1864, some guys will say this double top can maybe play out. And as we always say, sometimes the charts prove us completely wrong. And I really hope that this double top doesn't work out, because if you look at this double top will only come into play below 1,614, and that will take the gold price to $1,000. I doubt if that will happen, but for me, let's stick to the short term, and that's 1864. Below 1864, we can see the next move down on gold, and the reason why, because this double top worries me. And remember, gold had one massive rally. Gold had a rally from 1,620 all the way up to 2015 in a matter of a few months. So there must be a breather, but for me, that is the golden line. Below 1864, be careful about gold, because then it can head all the way down to this 40-week moving average. Let's have a look at silver, because we looked at the gold uh, price now, but let's look if silver can maybe give us a surprise. Now, silver, unfortunately, is now sitting exactly on the 40-week moving average, and that will make everybody nervous. And that is, if it drops below this $20.55, it can go lower. But what do we see here? And I want to show you guys here. There's something here on the silver price brewing. And there you are. Let's have a look here. Just want to get that line in. There you are. We're starting to see maybe a inverse head and shoulder formation in the making. And there's the left shoulder. There's the massive head. And there's the right shoulder. And this makes me very uncertain, because the gold price usually heads the silver price. And if the gold price goes up, rarely the silver price will go down. So if gold goes down, I doubt if silver goes up. But my neckline sits at $25.27, and above $25.27, I've got two targets on it. First of all is this conservative target that I extend from the low of that right shoulder to the neckline and extend it to the top. And on the other hand, I do the big one, and I say to myself, there's from the head to the neckline all the way to the top to $32. So that's maybe where silver can head to. And while we're talking about this, I just want to tell you that I think most of you know that Dr. Paul, that was such a wonderful motivator of traders with wonderful knowledge, unfortunately passed away. So let's hope that all his relatives and family members can carry on with some of his good work, because he was a wonderful mentor for so many traders, but unfortunately he recently passed away. Well, that gives the end of the show. Unfortunately, we ran out of time, so we covered a few nice things tonight. We said Nvidia short, we can go long on silver, first Majestic silver. We can look at the silver price, we looked at the gold price, and looks like we've got a conflicting view here. Gold can maybe go a little bit lower. Silver can maybe head a little bit higher. But for silver, remember, this is the magic line. Below 22.50, that's the 40-week moving average. Unfortunately, it can turn to be negative for silver. But let's hope for the commodity bulls that the gold price doesn't drop below 1864 and silver return and give us this beautiful right shoulder and develop and moving higher from there. Thank you for watching the show. We'll chat again, and of course, blessings to all.